of my presentation here. Here, yes. Yes, thank you for inviting me. My name is Henrik, and I'm one of 3 co-founders of FLINK. And in FLINK, we help seniors to stay in touch without the technical hassle. So we have been far too rarely in contact with our own grandparents. And the consequence is that they spend a lot of time alone, and we feel bad about it. And one of the reasons is that there's a big difference in our communication habits. So we are used to the digital communication forms, while they use the analog communication forms. One example is me and my grandmother. My grandmother's name is Anne, and she is 85 years old, and she lives in Give, far away, and she lives alone. And I've been way too rarely in contact with her, sometimes maybe only one time a month, and I really feel bad about it. And one of the reasons is that I only had 2 ways of communicating with her. I could visit her, or I could call her on the phone. And if I had to visit her, I have to drive 1.5 hours by car, and I don't have a car, so that don't happen very often. And then I can call her on the phone. But as I said before, I'm used to the digital communication forms, and to be honest, calling her on the phone feels a bit heavy, a bit boring, and often takes a long time, so it didn't happen. So in my busy everyday life, filled with work and friends and sports and parties, what happened was that I neglected the contact to my grandmother. And I really feel bad about it because I know she spends a lot of time alone, and that she wants to hear from me more often. So this has been my personal motivation for co-founding FLINK. And I want more contact with her, but in a way that suits my life better. And we know that I'm not the only one facing this problem. A lot of people do. This problem exists throughout the Western world, and we believe that no solution really dominates the market yet. In FLINK, we bridge the communication gap. We have developed a social app for everyone, regardless of their technology level. Since February, where we launched the product, we have gained more than 1,200 users, where 10 to 15% is weekly active, and they have shared more than 6,000 moments together. And the users tells us that FLINK provides a more frequent contact and gives more to talk about. 48% of Danish seniors who use the internet have difficulties with digital communication. And this number is even worse outside Denmark. And at the same time, the need for digital communication has never been greater, because the number of seniors are growing, families are living more dispersed than ever, and loneliness among seniors is widespread. This is the FLINK app. The FLINK app can be downloaded to iOS and Android and used on smartphones and tablets. And what you do is that you download the app, you create a user, and you invite family members to a conversation. Then you are able to communicate and share moments by text, voice, pictures, and video in a secure and closed chat. And the unique thing here is that FLINK is very simple, and that you can adjust the features to your own level. So right now we have more than 1,200 users who have shared more than 6,000 moments together. And what they tell us is that FLINK gives a more frequent contact. We have several families that has gone from being in contact only a few times a month to, we can see now in the data, they have daily contact. And it also gives more to talk about, because now they can share moments that they otherwise wouldn't have shared, so they now know what happens in each other's lives. One example is Kahn, who is one of our first users. She is 93 years old, and she had never used digital communication forms before. She didn't even own a computer, a smartphone, or a tablet. So she borrowed a tablet from us and tried out FLINK with her grandchild, Sophie. And a few days later, after they set up FLINK, we received this SMS from Sophie. We have translated it into English. This morning, my grandmother replied to one of my messages, it was an ecstatic feeling to receive the message. It's a really nice way to be in contact with her, and when she can figure it out as a 93 years old, I really think it has potential. Well done. So of course it feels very nice to receive a message like this, but it also shows that FLINK does not only provide value for the seniors, but also for the relatives who can easily be in contact with their grandparents. Another example is Kirsten and Nana. Kirsten is 72 years old, and Nana is 27 years old. Nana studies here in Aarhus, and her grandmother lives in the northern part of Jutland, far away. And before they start using FLINK, again, they were only in contact a few times a month, and now they have daily contact. Kirsten tells us that now they share moments they otherwise wouldn't have shared, and that the time between the visits now feels shorter. And Nana says that FLINK is a more easy and more informal way of communicating than phone calls, and that it gives more to talk about on the visits and on the phone. And in this way, FLINK contributes to the United Nations Global Goal 3 on good health and well-being for all, at all ages, because FLINK supports seniors in maintaining their relationships to their friends and family. And it improves their social life, which again contributes to reduced social loneliness and improves well-being and good health. And experts in family psychology say that great relationships across generations produce positive feelings like belonging and having a sense of meaning in life. And when grandparents are invited into the everyday lives of their families, they will have this sense of belonging. And all the young ones, they will enjoy their experience and their different outlook on life. So right now, FLINK is unique because we unite users from 13 years old to 90 years old in the same app. And this is made possible today by the detailed user customization. But soon we will differentiate even more. So instead of using a classic graphical user interface like all our competitors do, we will start using a conversational user interface. So this is a virtual assistant from our onboarding flow when a user signs up. It guides the user to what he needs, one question at a time, while everything else is hidden. And this same simple design can be used across features, so the seniors doesn't have to navigate the interface themselves and learn how to use the app. And we will use this design to implement new complex features while keeping the app simple to use. Some of the next features that we would like to implement is to relive moments, to document life memories, and to integrate FLINK with other social apps. So we talk to our users, and from that we know that they want to relive moments easily, moments they create on FLINK. But they want to do it in a very different ways. Some want to do it like a photo frame, like here, with a slideshow of the photos. Some want to download all the content and use it in another app. And some want to actually order a physical picture book. And if we should satisfy all these different needs with a classical graphical user interface, we should implement a lot of UI elements. And it will make the app too complex to use. But with a conversational user interface, we can just ask a question, and they can answer. And then we can guide the user to what he needs. So that's how we want to implement that. Then we also know from our younger users that they want to know more about their grandparents' lives, but they don't do it because they don't know what to ask and when to ask it, and they don't know how to document it in an easy way that is fun and manageable for everyone. So again, with the FLINK assistant, we want to implement this feature like a conversation topic in FLINK. And then we also know that the grandchildren want to share moments directly from the apps they already use, like Snapchat, WhatsApp, and Facebook Messenger. So we want to integrate, and this is possible today because they have opened the APIs. So we want to integrate FLINK with the other social apps, so the grandchild can send a moment directly from Snapchat to FLINK where the grandmother is. Yeah. And FLINK is scalable, and we want to distribute FLINK by strategic partnerships and PR that should create traffic into the viral loop, because already today we can see that 22% of the user growth comes from invites, and 2.4 users are invited on average. And we are already in a dialogue with Ældre Sagen and Duka about a strategic partnership on distribution. And regarding the business model, the business model is not fixed yet, but revenue can be generated from what is called a conversational commerce model. So this is inspired by WhatsApp, and Gartner predicts it to be the future of e-commerce. We call it FLINK Business, and it means that the users will be able to communicate with companies and businesses, just like they communicate with friends and families. So for example, a user could maybe buy groceries or do banking and insurance all in the same app in FLINK in the same design. And then the companies will pay a fee to FLINK for the contact to their users. Yes. We have a firm team with both technical and commercial skills. We have known each other for a long time and have worked together before and proven the ability to execute from previous projects. Before FLINK, we founded a software consultancy called Rosenberg Technologies to save up money for our startup, which we did successfully. And during that time, we also launched another app called Busven that helps daily commuters to take the bus. And it has 25,000 downloads, but there was no business model, so we had to skip it again. Jonas and Christian, my co-founders, they are educated software developers and have worked for Danske Bank Mobile Pay and for Mubaloo in London, and also for Trifork here at Doggen. And I hold a master in finance and international business, and I have worked with venture capital and as a business consultant before. One of our co-founders is Heini Zachariasen, who has founded, one of our mentors is Heini Zachariasen, who has co-founded Vivino, the wine app with 30 million users. So he knows a lot about B2C apps. Right now, our milestone is problem solution fit. After that, we want to nail the Danish market. And after that, we want to scale FLINK globally. So we can help as many seniors as possible to stay in touch with their friends and families without the technical hassle. Yes? And the last thing, if you want to get in touch with me, please reach out. You can find me on LinkedIn, Henrik Møller Kristensen, or email me directly. I would really like all kind of comments and questions, and yeah, that would just be great. Thank you.